A victory jingle. Welcome to victory. What's up, Victory family? My name is Danielle Cruz, and I am one of the worship pastors here at Victory Church, and I'm hanging out today with my good friend, Sierra Freeman.
Hello, hello. What's up, Victory? We are super excited to talk to you guys today. We are going to talk a lot about singles and how in the world do we do it in this world.
So, Sierra, here's my question for you. What are your thoughts on online dating?
Yeah. So, I've done it, but so growing up, I was super against it for the longest time because I felt like, God, you're going to bring him and it's just going to be so organic and so natural. And so the thought of online
like a
dating,
Hallmark movie.
Legit, literally, that was my goal.
Yeah.
And that wasn't happening. And so obviously I'm in my 20s and I'm like, okay. And then early 30s and I'm like, okay, well, let's try it. So I tried it and I've done a few different ones. And they they haven't really been not successful, but I also haven't really had many conversations. I've had a few, but none of the conversations that I've had have actually led to like dates or anything. So it's been like a lot of talking and then that's kind of it. But when I say not particular, like my list is 82 things.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, do you love Jesus?
Yeah.
Let's start there. And
My list is like breathing and loves Jesus.
Yes, that's a great one. I'm going to throw funny in there because that's actually pretty important to me. But other than that, it's like fair game. Like, what are we doing? Are you funny? Do you love Jesus? Okay, cool. We can have a conversation. Let's talk. So, yeah. But what about you? What about online dating thoughts?
I was the same as you. I wasn't like into the idea of it. But then like over the years, I have several girlfriends that have met their now husbands and baby daddies over just online dating or even through Instagram. Like I know some people that have met each other through Instagram. I don't even know how that happens.
Yeah,
like
they slid in.
How are you brave enough to be like, hey, what do you say? Like,
exactly.
Hey, you're cute.
You're cute.
Like,
Can I slide in the DM? I don't know.
Like what do you do for a living? Like, what's, So yeah, anyways, I used to work with all of these girls that were all single, and they all started doing online dating at the same time. But they would come to work every day and we'd sit to lunch together and they would all be like telling me these horrible stories of conversations that they would have, which made me even more like anti. I was like, not play. I'm not, I don't.
Bye.
That's not for me.
Yeah.
But I think it was actually during COVID that I was like, all right, I'm going to try this out. Like the world is shut down. There's nothing to do. I'm going to try this out. And I decided, I was like, I'm going to commit to 3 months of this. And so I did it. And it was kind of a 3 strikes and you're out thing.
Yeah.
First guy I met ended up being a super weirdo. Second guy I met, he ended up only wanting one thing, and that was not friendship with me.
Yeah, that wasn't what he was going for. Kumbaya.
Sex is what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's what he wanted.
He didn't want anything other than
and then the third guy, I got catfished. So that was fun. And then I was like, and scene.
We're done. We are done. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so with that, then, so obviously we're talking to the peoples. And how has that like impacted your faith at all? Has it? Like, how is that? What does that mean?
It doesn't impact my faith in any kind of a way that's going to make me believe less in what God has for me.
Yeah.
Like I think about, like I believe that God knows the desires of our hearts. And it's a desire of my heart to be married and even to be a mama someday. And I'll wait as long as I need to, because I'll tell you this, like I would much rather be single than be married to the wrong person.
Yep.
Much rather. I've also walked with several friends through marriage and divorce. Yeah. And I can't say that they didn't wait for the right one, because, everybody's capable of sin and mistakes and all of the things. But yeah, for me, I don't place my identity in being single at all. I think that's the wrong way to look at it. I look at it as like, I know that I have an opportunity right now in life to do so many things that I wouldn't be able to do if I was married.
Yeah.
And I look at it as a gift, and no matter how long I have the gift, like I'm excited to get to have it and to get to walk that out. And I think that the Lord can take you on special journeys through being single, and he can also take you on special journeys in marriage. Yeah. And there's just different seasons of life for different things. But in the Lord's timing is what's important to me.
Absolutely. I mean, I agree wholeheartedly. I feel like, what I do for a living, I counsel people all the time. And so I can see the ups, I can see the downs. And I think I know for a fact you're going to have ups and downs, even if you find the person that you're like, oh my God, this is the Lord. That's amazing. You're still going to have ups and downs. But when you have those ups and downs without it being the Lord, when you have those ups and downs, when you tried to force something to happen because of either loneliness or seeking for something, then it just doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in my 20s, I can honestly say when I was single and in my 20s and then kept getting older and older and older, it was discouraging. Maybe towards my later 20s, I definitely had moments of just feeling complete and utter feeling forgotten by the Lord, feeling like, does he really see me? Does he really care about what I want and what I, am desiring? And then as I've gotten older and even matured more in just my faith and my walk with the Lord, it's not so much that he doesn't care about what we want. I think that he does. I believe that he does. But it's also, he's not just going to give you what you want when you want it.
Hello.
Because that's just not the kind of God that he is. And that wouldn't even be a good father. And so I've had to learn in that journey that it's not, there are moments of feeling lonely. There are moments of feeling like, God, I want this. But then I take a step back and I'm like, okay, so what is that really that I'm desiring? Because there are many, many married women that feel lonely.
Mm-hmm.
There are married women that feel like they're not getting, what they thought this was going to be. Because are you really getting that from the Lord anyway? Is your identity really so secure and safe in him that you realize that, yes, this gift of a husband is phenomenal and I'm sure it's amazing, but that's still not the end all be all.
Yeah.
So what are you really seeking and what are you really desiring?
Yeah, it's like the whole, your husband can't be your happiness and can't be your fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
Your fulfillment. I don't know
Yeah.
why that was hard to say.
Yeah.
But you have to be secure in your identity as a daughter or a son of the King,
Mm-hmm.
like as sons and daughters of Christ.
Yeah.
You got to be secure in that first, and that's where you have to find your fulfillment and happiness. And so, yeah,
absolutely.
What do you do like when you're in a season where you're like, dang, I wish I wasn't single right now? Like,
I cry.
Yep.
I cry. And I talk to my friends.
Same.
And I cry to them.
Yeah.
I mean, because 97.3% of the time, golden.
Same.
I'm good. I'm secure. I'm good. I'm confident. I love my single life. I really do. I love being able to not have to literally ask anyone. I'm like, nope, I'm leaving 2 a.m. Okay, maybe that's not safe, but I'm going out because I want some ice cream or whatever. But there are moments when I'm like, God, this is really hard.
Yeah.
This is really difficult. I'm really sad. And I know that my confidence is in you. I know that my identity is in you. But I would love to have somebody to walk through this life with.
Yeah.
And share these moments with. And share these milestones with. I mean, I'm doing so many things that I'm proud of and I'm excited to do. And my friends are amazing in celebrating that with me. But sometimes I'm like, I would love to have my person to celebrate that with.
Yeah.
And so there are moments where I'm like, God, I trust you and I know that your timing is best, but my gosh, this is hard.
Yeah. I feel that. I'm kind of the same. I'll have like random moments. I don't live in that space. Like any kind of space like that where your center is a little bit off. Like I start focusing really hard on being single. I'm like, man, this sucks.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do the same. Like maybe I'll have a little pity cry fest. And then I'll be like, all right. And so other times I'm just like, listen, I'm somebody's rib, so where he at?
Right? I'm like, okay, listen, Lord, you said he who finds a wife finds a good thing.
Hello.
I'm here. I think I'm a good thing. So what are we doing? Let's go. Just saying. Okay, so what would you say then? Okay, so we're in this, we're living it. We're like, okay, God, 97% of the time we're good. We got our moments. So what would you speak to about like purity and that kind of thing? Like, what does that look like?
All right.
How do we navigate that?
Okay. Well, I'll tell you a little bit of my history.
Yeah.
So I'm a church girl, like was raised in church.
Mm-hmm.
And I was an avid youth group girl. And we did a program when I was in, I may have been middle school, called, it was a purity program. I know there's a bunch of different ones out there, but it was called Worth the Wait. And so we did this whole ceremony where we literally signed a covenant with the Lord saying that we were going to remain pure, or try to remain pure until we were married. Mm-hmm. And so I signed this whole covenant, and it was like a letter to God, and I like signed my name and all that kind of stuff. And then there was a like kind of like a ring ceremony, and we got a ring, and I had this little silver ring that I wore for forever that said worth the wait. And I'm not wearing it because I'm not worth the wait or because I gave it up because I didn't. I'm still holding my V card. Hello.
Yeah, right? Same.
Still a virgin out here, y'all.
Yeah.
It is possible.
It is.
So, but honestly, I'm grateful that I did it because as I got older and like had boyfriends when I was in high school, you know, when hormones are raging and guys are like, oh, let's see how far I can go with this girl.
Mm-hmm.
I had a conviction in me that would, if a guy started trying to push it too far, I'd be like, we're done.
Yeah.
Love you, mean it. It was fun. We're going to be just friends now, you know. So that was a benefit of it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that there's potential that, you know, if you've gone through a program like that, it can kind of skew your views on sex because there's something about it that in your brain you're like, sex is wrong.
Yeah.
Which that's not what we're meant to believe either.
Yeah.
It's just that it's just more of a lining of understanding what sex is for, and that God created it to be a good thing, but he created it to unite a man and a woman, for two to become one. Like that's part of the oneness is getting to have sex. And of course he made it something that's like amazing and fun. And what I've found over life is that the enemy just tries to use that all the time to just disrupt and cause people to have feel shame and things like that, which are not from the Lord. But all that to say, I'm grateful that I've held on to it. It's been hard at times for sure.
Yeah.
It's hard the older that I get and, you know, the longer I've been waiting for that. Cause I don't know if this is a real thing or not, but like, I also believe like our bodies were created to do that too.
Yeah, 1000%.
So I think that the older you get, you have to be more and more careful about like what you're surrounding yourself with, the people you're surrounding yourself with, all that kind of stuff.
1000%.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree wholeheartedly. And same, I'm a virgin, and it has been hard. It's been tough. I feel the same. There was severe conviction growing up when I was little, and just I had this thought and this idea of relationships and marriage, and I've loved marriage like literally my entire life. And I was just like, that is what I want to save it for, and I believe that it's beautiful. And I feel like in the area of purity culture, I didn't do any program or anything like that, but we were taught it. Just it was like hounded into us. But to your point, I think the sometimes downfall of that is we are taught it's bad, don't do it. So then it's like, okay, how do I navigate this and what do I do with this? But I think if we really look at what it's for, why we have it, but then also it reminds me of the scripture in Song of Solomon, don't awaken love before it's time. Mm-hmm. Now we live in a culture where unfortunately that's not always possible because we can see something.
It's accessible everywhere.
TV, everywhere.
Driving in your car and it's an ad on the side of the road, like whatever.
Yeah, it's really difficult. But I feel like if we take that seriously, or we at least try to take that seriously, and what are we watching? What are we listening to? What are we engaging in? You can't not see things like that and think that you're going to be okay. You're not going to be okay. And I can go counselor on you.
Come on, counselor.
All day. But I'm like, you can't say that you want something or desire something or be frustrated that these things aren't happening when you are constantly allowing that into your life. Yep. And then you're frustrated because you're like, where's my husband? Well, calm down. And when it's time, God will bring him. But what are you desiring more in that moment? Because if you're looking for that specific thing and you want this quick fix, well, then are you really getting out of the Lord what he's there to do, which is literally fulfill every single need that you have?
Yeah.
But is he actually fulfilling every single need? And are you going to him with every single need? And I think that's the one thing that sometimes in church culture, they don't always get to or talk about, which is, what are we doing? What are we listening to? What are we watching? It's not bad. It's not that it's bad, but it is designed for something so beautiful. And that is not the most important thing inside of your marriage. I do obviously know it is super important. That is not what I'm saying. But we have to have a foundation of something so much bigger than that.
Oh, yeah.
And so we have to understand that that's really what that is. And where are we getting that intimacy from?
Yep.
And like, where is it coming from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. Yeah, I find that I have to be really careful about what I watch. And that's not just for like sex things. Yeah. Like obviously like I've never struggled with a porn addiction. I've never seen porn before actually, but I know that that's something that's like more and more prevalent. And then it seems like nowadays more and more movies that you find like on Netflix or whatever just have like blatant sex scenes in them, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, you know. So I try to find that fast forward button pretty quick, and or just avoid it at all costs. But it's harder to navigate nowadays because sometimes you don't know what you're watching is gonna have stuff in it. So
so a lot like you, I haven't seen porn either, and so porn in a sexual way for me wasn't really the thing. But I know that there's a lot of women out there that do or have. Totally get it. For me, what it was more the emotional side of it. So it was this guy who's just this protector, this knight in shining armor, swooping in and coming and saving the girl, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Nicholas Sparks is an author that I love. Oh my gosh, well, loved. I mean, I like some of his stuff. Walk to River is my favorite movie of all time. But there was a lot of his books that I would just be engulfed in. And I remember the Lord, he got me and he was like, hey, I need you to, that has to go. And I fought it, man. I fought it so hard because I was like, but why, God? Like, this is amazing. Like, he writes such beautiful stories.
Yes.
And he's like, yeah, but no. No. Because that intimacy is with me and what you're actually desiring, what you actually want. He's like, I created you. I know every hair on your head. I know every thought that you think before you think it.
Yep.
So I need that focus to be here on me because that's what it's about. And so, I fought it hard that I got rid of those books. And then there was even a time where I had to get rid of a lot of movies. Again, the movies weren't crazy or intense or anything, but that emotional was so strong. And I had to rid it. And I remember I got a trash bag and I just threw them away. So I think I have like 8 movies in my house. The cutesy little movies, and it's not to say that I'm not like perfect and I don't not struggle, of course, with that, but I'm super intentional about what I watch.
Yeah.
And I feel like
you have to be.
Yeah.
God told me a couple of years ago to slow my roll on how many Hallmark movies I was watching. Because it's what we think we want, and it's what we think life should be like. But the more you watch it, the more you're like, like where's my lumberjack that I'm gonna meet, like in my hometown when I go visit my mom.
When I go home,
like
outside in the snow.
Where's he at? Where I'm gonna quit everything that I know and go to be with this man, and he's gonna love me for the rest of my life.
Oh yeah.
No, I totally know what you mean, and it's also like being single and wanting a relationship. It's really easy to start kind of drafting yourself into looking for that emotional relationship if you can't find like an actual like dating relationship where it's a mutual thing. I've had that happen before in the past where I had a guy that was a friend of mine, and then he's feeding into my emotional needs and I'm feeding into his emotional needs, and then suddenly as one of my friends put it, we were emotionally making out. She literally looked at me one day and she was like, stop emotionally making out with him. And I was like, ooh, what?
Like, wow.
That's a thing. And I was like, oh man, she's right.
Yeah.
But you have to be like aware of it. If you're single, like that still is meeting needs that shouldn't be met outside of marriage.
Yeah.
We're fine to have our emotional needs met by the Lord. And that's what he desires from us. Like he wants our intimacy above anything else.
Yeah.
So that's what I try to realign my vision to.
Yeah, absolutely. No, same. I have not heard that term before, but that's a beautiful term. I'm
emotionally
like,
emotional making out.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, yeah, essentially that's what that was. So that's great. Yeah. I've definitely had emotional. Gosh, I had an emotional soul tie with a person. Like there was no physical anything.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing physical.
Mm-hmm.
This soul tie though, listen, this will have you do things that you sit in front of girls all the time and you're like, okay, listen, you don't do this, don't do that. He doesn't like you. It's okay, let it go. And I'm over here like, I'm just gonna go drive over there and just like see and just hang.
Yeah,
out.
I think you're wrong.
Exactly. Like, no, he does. Like, trust me. He sent me a text message. He said hello. It's fine. He does.
Yeah.
It's like, no, he doesn't. And if they wanted to, they would.
Yep.
And so I'm like, okay, all right. So I had to learn that too, but it was hard. It was hard. Okay. Yeah, that's so good. Everything is so good. So if you could tell the ladies of Victory, like one thing, what would you tell them?
Oof. I would tell you, ladies of Victory, I would tell you guys that no matter where you are in your life, no matter if you're single, no matter if you're married, divorced, whatever has happened in your life and whatever's happening right this second in your life, whether you're sitting on the mountaintop or whether you're in a valley or whether you're just on the journey in between. Like, know that God loves you so much. If you don't know anything else, know that he loves you so much. You are loved by a love that will never, ever let you go. There's literally nothing you could ever do that God wouldn't love you and adore you. You are his. He knows, like Sarah said earlier, he knows every hair on your head. He knows your thoughts before you think them. He knit you in your mother's womb. Like, he knows you better than anyone else ever will. And it's such a beautiful thing to know that and to receive a love like that. So don't forget that. Okay, so Sierra, what would you say to all the single ladies at Victory?
Yeah. So I think first and foremost, I would tell you ladies that it's real out here in these streets and that we absolutely feel your struggle, and it is real. And so everything that you're feeling, everything you're wondering about, everything you're asking about when you're like, what do we do out here? What do we do out here? It's real. We feel it. We know it. But I would really just say that you are seen, you are loved, and where are you getting that identity from? Who are you going to for it? I know that it sounds cliche. We say it all the time. You have two single women up here sitting here telling you that it's possible, but really ask yourself some questions and find out what's going on inside. And maybe you need to talk to somebody. Maybe you need to address it. I don't know. We've talked about porn and kind of what's going on with that. If you're dealing or struggling with that, there are resources for you in anything that you need help with in this area. But we know that it's possible. You can do it. We believe in you. We see you. Come say hi. Come talk to us if you need to. But it's possible and you can do it. But we love you. You are seen. And just know that your feelings are valid in this area. We know it. We feel it too. But you can do it. You can do it. Well, hey, Victory, we hope you enjoyed that conversation. I know that we did. And if you are looking for more resources, you can look in the description box below, and we will catch you on Sunday.
Bye.